Robbie Williams Rewind.
Welcome to Robbie Williams Rewind. We are the champions. I'm Matt.
And I'm Lucy.
And along with help from special guests, we take you on an in-depth rewind through the solo career of multi-award-winning singer, songwriter and entertainer Robbie Williams.
Today's guest is one of the UK's most in-demand musicians. As well as playing with Robbie since 2009, he's also a part of James Blunt's band, Feeder and King Herd. He's played drums for and has been the musical director for loads of incredible artists such as Christina Aguilera, Paloma Faith, Elton John, Take That, James Morrison, 5 Seconds of Summer, Westlife, Girls Aloud, Star Sailor, Ollie Murs, Leona Lewis, Joss Stone, Alison Moyet, and even Ed Sheeran.
You've been on the website.
So we're absolutely delighted to welcome to the podcast Karl Brazil.
Thank you very much. And I have to apologise for it taking so long for me to get here. I know we've been meaning to do this for a while, but as you'll know,
yes,
it's been a busy period, busy time. So
absolutely,
thanks for having me, and sorry it's taken a while.
That's
no
okay.
problem. And we're at a very exciting time, as we're all about to find out.
That was the other reason to do this now, because things are buzzing right now. And we're about to embark on a fantastic tour, which we'll get to later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we really thank you for joining us. But before we get on to discussing your time with Robbie, let's rewind back to the very beginning of your career. So you come from a musical family. What age did you start playing drums, and why the drums?
I feel silly saying this because some people think get lost, but I was 2 when I had a drum kit, and it was a drum kit. Do you remember the Smurfs?
Yeah.
So my dad was a guitarist. God rest his soul. Lost him a couple of years ago, but he gave me the gift of drumming because at an early age, you used to have these microphones, really long things called Unidyne mics, and they were lying around the house. But because he was a guitar player and at that time signed to MCA, a band called Reno, there was just equipment everywhere. So I grabbed these microphones and used to bash around the house, over time damaging furniture in particular, a big sort of stained glass window that was led through to the living room in Small Heath, Birmingham. Anyway, this shattered. So this drum kit arrived, and it was a toy kit, but Dad just could see I got a feel for it. So that kit slowly emerged. It had some bongos as tom-toms. By the time I was 5, he bought me a Ludwig Classic from Green Lane Music Shop in Sparkhill, Birmingham. And that was really, I think at 5 when I started playing to records, working out how the feet went around the pedals once they could reach. And I've got a cassette tape at home. If anyone doesn't remember what a cassette tape is, it's a little thing with 2 reels, but that's got me playing along to Bread, their album, particularly a track called Freedom, when I was 5. So very early start for me, and I feel very lucky that it started. It's a bit like any of us learning to drive a car. It comes natural. So thanks, Dad.
And being left-handed but playing a right-handed kit is unique. And has this influenced your style?
It has, actually. That's why my nose is pointing that way, because when you do fills as a lefty, you have to lead with your left. But no, seriously, left-handed drummers are few and far between. Most drummers play on the left. They have to play this way. Yeah. So with me, I think because I started so early, when I got older and I was trying to teach other kids, I was like, why is this so difficult? And it's because to the non-drummers, playing like a 16-beat, we call it, you're meant to go on the outside with the right hand onto the snare, but I go on the inside. Yeah, which makes it difficult to teach. So I probably should have played that way, but this is what's happened, and I think it's given me a unique way of playing and certainly creating things. But there's other drummers similar, Ringo Starr, Buddy Rich. I believe they're all lefties as well, but played the right hand kit. So I'm happy to be on that list.
Yeah, that's a good list to be on.
And how did you go from playing in your garage to securing professional gigs?
Oh gosh, I'll give you the highlights. So I used to play every day, and Dad built me a little booth out of chipboard and foam and made me a really nice little drum booth. And I used to go in every day after school, play for 2 hours. I'd pick a couple of albums. Could be anything from Journey to Little Feat, to Bread, to Lionel Richie. It could be all sorts, but I'd pick an album because back then it was cassettes. You can't forward. It was too much of a pain. So you just play the whole album. Yeah. So I'd go in there and pretend that I'm on that gig. And that was invaluable experience of just practice and learning about music, really. So that was in the garage. I remember somebody knocked the door, one of the neighbours, because he was a drummer, and said, can I speak to the drummer who's in the house? And I said, it's me. And he went, really? But because I was playing so much, I think I was slightly ahead of my time. Not to sound big-headed, but as a kid, you pick up things easy. So, yeah, I just spent so much time dreaming about what gigs and how it would come about. And I used to drive my dad crazy. I'd be on, how do I get out there? Because back then, no social media, just a house phone, and I guess adverts in newspapers and stuff.
Yeah.
That was the only way to get about. So hence, I guess auditions and being proactive, looking for things like that and just knowing people was the only way to get about. It's very different now, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's almost saturated now.
Yeah.
Every thing you scroll to is someone else doing the drum solo. It's almost auditioning online. So back then was a little bit more, it was a bit more channeled, I'd say. So opportunities came and I have a different view on auditions now. They're not, I used to get disappointed if you go to an audition and don't get the job. But now I look back and go, that was just your journey. And people getting to know you and invaluable experience.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot at school and bands and things.
Well, I went to Sheldon Heath School in Birmingham purely because, let me tell you, it wasn't for the education. You'd know that by looking at my grades. But the band was always brilliant. And I used to see the Sheldon Heath School band playing at different events and go, I want to be in that band. And when I got to the school, the level of drumming was high. The standard was great. Right. And I wanted the chair and I eventually got it. But, learning from other great drummers was part of the process. And I was sure enough in the Sheldon Heath School band, and it was great Christmas because you didn't have to be in school. You'd be just playing at Asda outside and doing all sorts of play. But it wasn't jazz stuff. It was like playing Huey Lewis Paralove or the A-Team. Right. It was fun. Yeah. So I was very lucky and I went to that school for that reason, and Mum and Dad let me do that. So I think Dad knew I always just wanted to play drums, and on the weekends I'd be off out with my dad's band, country music band. So I just had the best. It was like an early education and early experiences. And all my dad's friends, musos, was an early education to what's out there, and give me just a huge appetite. Yeah. Weren't really another option. I don't know what I'd have done if I didn't play drums, seriously.
So you played on Top of the Pops in 1994 with Bitty McLean at just 17. And then you toured arenas with Bitty as support for Wet, Wet, Wet.
Have you seen that clip, Top of the Pops?
Yeah.
Should we leave the ponytail out? So,
it was in at the time.
Well, you know what? As my first TV appearance, I was petrified. And thanks to Bitty McLean, who's about to embark on a tour now, I think, with Ali Campbell. Bitty giving me my first proper gig. I was down in Wales with all my mates from Sheldon Heath, and Dad rang me and said, you've had a call for an audition. And that came from working at a music shop from a guy called Gary Chapman. Anyway, I went and auditioned and thank God got the job. And first TV was Top of the Pops. And I was fine. I think I got like a blue velvet jacket. Terrible. I had terrible dress sense. It hasn't improved much now. But, the ponytail was the thing. Anyway, I was still in normal life back then. And when the camera came towards me, I don't know why, I just winked. It was like a nervous wink at the camera. And as soon as I'd done it, I thought, what were you doing? Of course, when I went back to my mates to play five-a-side football or back to the local, I just got ribbed, and they put it on the jukebox on the video thing just multiple times. And I was just in there going, just go home. But that was the nervousness of doing a TV, because watching Top of the Pops as a kid and a drummer and aspiring to do whatever I'm doing now, it was a dream. Just seeing the top of the Pops logo, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So when the camera came, I just panicked, but it's all good. I've learned how to deal with it.
And what was it like going on the tour with Bitty and Wet, Wet, Wet?
I was petrified back then, to be honest. It was all brand new, and I always thank Bitty because I think it was boot camp for drummers' language, playing to click tracks, playing reggae, which wasn't my first go-to really. Bitty taught me how to play reggae, and so did all the band. They were great. So I was the young boy, the youth as it was called, and I learnt so much. And the Wet 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 tour was an eye opener because they were in the prime. Great band, great songs, sold out arenas everywhere. And I just watched and went, wow, I want to do that. Yeah. So when a tour stops, we call it after tour blues. And that used to happen a bit more often when I was still, looking for a job of longevity, if you like.
Yeah.
So when the Bitty tour stopped and I was at home, I just got really down because I thought, what if that never happens again? That was like a real eye into, the world of touring arenas. And it's no doubt about it, the adrenaline and the buzz that comes with that, there's got to be a low. You've got to come down at some point. So
Yeah.
that was the hardest thing to deal with. But fabulous tour, great memories, forever locked in my mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I have a sip?
Okay.
And then it took a little bit of a while to get another big gig.
God, you've done your homework.
You auditioned to be Rob's drummer once, but you didn't get the job at that point. How did you stay motivated during that in-between period?
Well, that was a period of, so if I can jump the gun, I started going into London auditions because, like we talked about earlier, you start to get to know people. And it's all about hearsay, reputation. And I got an opportunity. So Guy actually heard me playing on something. Thank you, Guy. And got me down to play. Now, not only do I think my dress sense was still bad back then, but I was too young.
Yeah.
And when I walked into the room, it was a fabulous band. Phil Isler was there, Guy. Neil Taylor must have been there. Gaz Nuttall. You know, it was the original lineup. Yeah. And it was at Depp Studios. Rob wasn't there. He came in later and I briefly crossed him in the corridor. Went in and I played good. And looking back at it, the best thing that happened out of that is that I left a good reputation. And Guy called me again for other auditions. So I think I was too young, but I did go home and wait for the phone to ring, a proper old phone, for a couple of weeks. And I thought, I mustn't have got the job. But I just couldn't sit any longer. So I rang up to find out and they said, no, somebody's got it. I think it was Smiley. Yeah. And then, of course, Sharrick came back. But now looking at it, it was obviously meant to be. It was like a little window. But, you know, of course, back then, there must have been about 20, maybe more. There's a YouTube video, actually, of the drummers. Have you not seen it?
No.
Has that escaped your net?
Yeah.
Well,
we interviewed
you've got to
Smiley
dig
as
it
well.
out. You can put a clip on. I've got long hair. I look like a Hanson tribute. Long blonde hair. I've got a stripy shirt on and a few zips knocking about. But you'll see me. It's like a real flash. But it's a great memory now because now we're where we are. What a story, you know.
Yeah.
Go full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate, you know, this is advice to young drummers. Any auditions that come up, say yes, go and do it because the experience is so valuable. Yeah. And things can come around again and it almost matures you as a player, as a person, and it makes you tougher.
Yeah.
With the knockbacks, etc.
So you won an audition to be Darius Dinesh from the X Factor's drummer.
That's right.
And then you secured the position in James Blunt's band. So how did you get the role with James?
So let me just go to the Darius thing because I couldn't drive then. And my dad, I was playing a gig at Ronnie Scott's Birmingham and someone tipped me off and said, look, going to get you down for an audition in London for Darius Dinesh, who's 6'7".
Is he?
Bless him. He was. God bless his soul. That hit me hard because he was, again, instrumental in giving me an opportunity, and which other things snowballed out of that. I met some wonderful people from playing for Darius and with Darius. So went down to Terminal Studios. God, my brain's working hard to remember these facts, but I'm gonna. And there must have been 100 drummers there that day. And my dad took me down. We played. We got on with it, and I learned quickly on this particular day that personalities are just as important as playing because you spend hours together off stage. So I got down to the last 20, and I thought, crikey. The further you get, the more heartache it's going to be if you don't get, because we was out there all day. Then they said Darius wants to meet you. Went and met him. Good job that I was a drummer because when I met him, he's 6'7", I thought, Christ. Met the rest of the band and I could see them handpicking who they liked. They love the playing and then the personalities. And Darius actually said, I really like you. You know, I'd like to spend time with you when we're travelling up down the country. He said, I'm told you're a great drummer. From my knowledge, I can, see you've got the vibe. So that was it. The next day we started touring. But this is the funny thing. I said to my dad, I went up to him in the corridor. I said, Dad, I've got the job. I start tomorrow. And he just really casually went, get in the car. Don't overreact sort of thing. And then we got in the car and we celebrated like Del and Rodney outside the auction. And then next day I started and that went on for years. I met Pete Glenister, Steve Lillywhite, loads of great people that used me for different projects and records. So I have to thank Darius for putting me on the map. I really do. It wouldn't have happened without him. Then came James Blunt. So I started doing lots of things with different record companies, like TV campaigns and playing on different records. And an opportunity came to go and do some work with Elton John for a week in Germany, which was promo based. But we took a UK band out because his band were away. So we went and did some TV promo, which was fantastic. And I met James's manager who said, I've got this new artist. You're going to love him. He's really great. Can I send you some music? Fast forward to Parsons Green, me and James Blunt meeting for a coffee. And James said, this has been out there before, but he said, I have no idea. I'm not going to do his voice because I can't. No idea how good you are. It comes from good source that you're a great drummer. And he said, I just wanted to meet you and see what you like. And from that day, I got the job with James. And again, took up 20 years of my life, but invaluable experience and the best times, because I started with James when he was working from the ground upwards. We played to 50 people at the garage, Islington. Then the second gig was supporting Elton John at Portman Road. But James's style of music crafted me as a player then, because it was very organic, very rootsy, very simplistic. And as I grew up, again, full circle, I grew up listening to Little Feat and Eagles. So lots of different stuff. A lot of it was song-based, the playing. So playing with James for that long crafted my style, and we became dear friends, and I'm still working with him now. I think I'm the only original member left.
Oh, right. Wow.
But yeah, we're good pals, and we've got many stories.
He's got such a wicked sense of humour.
He's hilarious.
Every time he says something.
I mean, we're not two people you put together, but thank for the music. Thanks to the music, me and James crossed paths, and we've remained friends for a long time.
And on the subject of James, you were in LA recording with him for a month.
Yep.
And you played football with Rob. Was that the first time that you met him? What was your first impression?
No, Rob came to the gig. He came to see James at the House of Blues.
Yeah.
And came down with a few mates and hung out, watched the show, because James did a mega sold-out show at the House of Blues. So we met up, and then we had a game of football against Rob. And Rob put this ridiculous team together. There was no sympathy at all. Because some of us can play football, some of us can't. But I took the crew up. Star Sailor were with us, who let us down because they'd been out the night before. So it was drips and drabs of a football team. Of course, up at Rob's
LA Vale.
pitch, you had, I think we had the official night goalkeeper, top scorer from so-and-so, and someone else from LA Vale. And it was like, so it was double figures, and slightly embarrassing, but I thought all I could do is just play.
Yeah.
All I can do is try and play my game. But from there, we all became friends, really. It was quite a network of lots of people playing football and musos, and we'd often have a bit of food. So when I had to record James's album, All the Lost Souls, as a drummer, you're finished before anyone else. So I ended up with a bit of free time playing football. And then out of the blue, got an email off Rob when James was having some downtime, and Rob was about to go back out with
Reality Killed
the Video Star, thank you. And I got an email to say, I'd love you to join me on promoting this record. His drummer had gone off to do other ventures, and I was like, wow, I hope this comes through, because it's quite a remarkable story after auditioning when I was 18. So lo and behold, found myself at Music Bank Studios with Neil Taylor, Gary Nuttall, Jerry, and Beardy at the time, and off we went. And here we are now. I don't know how many years it's been. You probably know. 16.
Well, yeah, it must be nearly 20, because that would have been.
Jeez.
Oh, no, 2009. So
Yeah.
16.
So, remarkable. I feel very lucky that, things in the music business come together for lots of different reasons, and every day different opportunities can arise. But working with Rob, I have to say, we get on so well. We've got lots of similarities in upbringing and sense of humour, and musical tastes. Yeah. So again, it goes back to personalities and getting on. But still, when you're on that stage together, you got to cut the mustard.
Yeah,
I love performing with Rob. It's electrifying.
Yeah,
yeah.
And what was your first gig? The actual first gig with Rob? Can you remember?
It was, oh crikey, I think it would have been in the Round
at the O2. Did you do the Children in Need rocks at the Albert Hall? Maybe?
No, I didn't do that.
No,
but we did a small tour with Rob. We did like Southend and a few things.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was a lot of different promo around. In fact, I know what the first gig was. It was at the Roundhouse for the promo. Now there was two drummers for that, because Trevor Horn was the producer of the record, and he wanted everything to be totally live. So we had almost two bands. So it was two of everything. So it was really exciting. So that was the first gig, and that was great. That was awesome.
Yeah. And
I really loved that album. It was fantastic. I'm always trying to get Do You Mind in the gigs. It's a rocker.
We love Morning Sun as well.
Yeah, me too. So after that, the O2 in the Round was the next sort of gigs, which was so exciting. I mean, that I don't know about you, but playing in the round, being surrounded by the crowd is just brilliant.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
we were there.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then just going back a little bit before Take the Crown, you played on a few tracks on Progress.
Yeah, so
how was that?
Back when Psalm Studios was around, you know, Psalm Studios was Trevor Horn's place.
Yeah.
I was working with various people. I was doing a fair bit with Gary then, and Gary's got a lot of songs for the Progress album, Progress. So I went in and played on. Gosh, was it Stuart Price produced that?
Yeah.
So Stuart's quite electric, but I went in and just played on lots of stuff, and then ended up with, you probably know more than me how many I ended up on. But,
I can't remember them. I didn't write them
but
down.
one of my favourites was SOS.
Oh, I love that song.
Great drum track.
Yeah.
And it was during the time when people were crossing over in studios, and I did a fair bit. I did a couple of bits on Beautiful World on the deluxe version, and then Gary was using me for his solo record. So it was just a time where we were all crossing paths, and I was really, really pleased to get on that album because I'm a big fan. I love Take That stuff. Beautiful World's probably my favourite record of theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great album. And there's a song called Happy Now.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Great tune. But I managed to get on a few tracks and I was delighted. So thank you, Gary.
Was the 2013 Take the Crown tour the first time you played in stadiums?
I guess it was. I mean, I'm trying to get the timeline right because we did Twickenham, Help for Heroes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Would that have been before?
That would have been
Before,
2009.
So, you know, certainly doing those gigs and doing stadiums, I don't care what anyone says, but arenas, once you've done a stadium, definitely feels more intimate, and that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just does. With my eyesight, playing stadiums now, I'm lucky to make eye contact past the first two rows. But come on, I mean, it's just unbelievable. So there was definitely, when I did those, actually Help for Heroes, I played for James on the same day and Rob.
Oh, in the same
Finished the
gig.
evening with Rob. But, you know, I've got goose pimples now remembering that because it was just telling yourself when you're up there with click tracks, just settle down. That's what voices in my head do. Just settle down. It's all right. 70,000 and the pyro's going off. I think when you come off, it's then managing Rob's done it for years. I think he's the best. He's the pro at that. He can just come off and be so calm.
Really?
He's the ultimate pro at that.
Wow.
Whereas me, I'm like, oh, wow, that was great, wasn't it? What are we going to do?
And then the Swings Both Ways tour was a different challenge for you, wasn't it? Can you explain why?
Yes. I actually re-auditioned for that.
All right.
Because swing was a very different thing. And they'd put such an album together. It was slightly different moving parts and slightly different heads of departments that were putting this show out. So thanks to Guy again, I went down to the studio and played, what's the Michael Bublé track?
Oh.
I can't remember the title.
No,
Come
neither
on.
can I. Soda Pop?
Soda Pop.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
done. Thank you. Auditioned and played Soda Pop and a few other bits and got on the train. Rob called me and said, you smashed it. Well done. And he was very supportive because he wanted me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He just said, you know, go in and give it everything. So I will say this, the swing tour, I lived and breathed at home. I got up every day and played swing. Now, I don't know what some people would say I'm more of a rock drummer or country or whatever. I've played a lot of different styles and I've got a good musical ear. So I'm not the quickest with the dots, but I can go in here and I've got a photographic memory. But more than that, the swing period taught me different things. And I learned a lot more about drumming in that style. Yeah. And it improved me as a player, I think. Wow. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And didn't think for a second it would come round, but when it did, I was giving myself a bit of a pat on the back. So I was like, that was tough, and I did it. Yeah. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And it's a fantastic tour.
That was great.
Yeah. It was mega, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Really enjoyable.
Yeah. There was an extra special connection, I think.
Yeah.
There was something else about it, even more than normal.
Well, you know, there isn't many artists that can be a crooner, can be a punk, rock and roll, can be soulful.
Rap.
You know, it pulls everything off. But I'd like to think in drum terms, I can do the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's why it kind of works. And it's it's nice to be able to turn your hand to different things. Yeah. But he's the master of that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's why he's always on the road. Right, I'm done with that. Back to the swing.
And when did you start songwriting? And can you remember the first song that you wrote?
Gosh, I mean, I've written for a long time. I think I didn't unlock the confidence key, the confidence door,
Yeah.
until you start getting reactions off people. And I've always known, I guess because of this playing in the garage from young age, country music's very good for melodies. I've always liked songs. And my dad was a great singer-songwriter, but playing the drums is probably harder to write on, but I've always been good with melodies. So when I teamed up with Ben Castle, particularly, and then Owen Parker, I was allowed to breathe and put melodies down. I'm good with arrangements. I'm good with production. And I can play enough to write songs. I mean, Marry Me was probably the first thing I sat down and wrote very simply.
That's a beautiful song.
Love it.
And when me and Rob got together at his house down in Wiltshire, that song happened like that. As soon as Rob put his melody and lyrics down, I was like, wow, we've got a tune here. We were buzzing, you know. And I think the biggest thing is when I've learned, I've got better and better, and working with the best has helped me to do that. The hardest thing is when you get really attached to a song, and you think it's going to have a life and it doesn't. And that's part of the journey and the experience I've learned to just say, well, you know, it's there forever. Yeah, because people get excited at certain points, but loads of songs always come about. Yeah, and Rob can sit there and write a song in 15 minutes. He's just so quick. He's a lyrical genius. Yeah, he's pretty frightening. So I've learned, and I feel like I've improved. And this next album to come, probably the best thing I've ever been involved with, for sure. So,
we can't wait.
Going back to what you just said, that writing, I've always written songs in bands like King Herd or bands back at college, but writing as a professional, I'd say, you know, I did a bit with Bitter McLean, and I've done all sorts of pitches over the years, but I have to thank Rob for giving me the opportunity to get involved, because it takes that sometimes. Yeah. And I sent him a song years ago, which I don't know if you'd have heard. I don't even know if it was out. But we wrote a song called Stevie Carter about a school bully. Oh. And I sent it to him, and he just an idea I sent, but that's what it turned into. But that's what ignited the writing relationship from there. Right. And I went over to LA, and after that it was the Christmas album, Under the Radar stuff. And we've written, I don't know how many we've written together, but there's a lot. Yes. You know. Yeah. And it's a journey, and it's become a nice exercise now. But to sit down in a room with people and write, you've got to be comfortable. Yeah. And once you know how each other tick, that's all part of coming up with a good result, I think. Yeah.
So you've written and produced quite a lot of songs with Ben, as you said, for Rob, such as Andy Warhol, Gold, Dirty Rotten, and Bye Bye, which were all
What's your favourite
out of those? Gold.
We said that together.
Yeah, Gold's one that slipped away for me because it's very Rob. Yeah. I think, you know, if you ask Rob now, we probably wished it would have been pushed or put out at some point. But like I said earlier, there's different reasons that things change. Yeah. Different opinions. So, but it's still out there, and I do believe it's a fan favourite.
It is a fan favourite. Yeah.
Great. Well, that's why we did it at the Roundhouse, and it's forever there. Maybe we'll bring it out again one day. But me and Rob are big 80s fans. Yeah, yeah. And it's a punch the air, feel good.
Yeah.
You know, get the aftershave on Saturday night song for me.
Did that 80s vibe come from you or from Rob, or was it just naturally together?
Do you know, Ben's an 80s Tears for Fears lover. So we sat down, and it was that noise at the start. Down, down, down. Ben came up with that. And then we put the beat down, and then Rob heard it and got excited. And it's quite Bowie on that. Are you really real? Yeah. It's quite sexy, and it's got everything about it. Mm-hmm. It really has. And we thought for a minute it was going to maybe be a single, but there was lots of other things in the offering. And, you know, when there's a load of songs arriving, they all have their moment. So sometimes it can come too soon or too late, but it's there now. And I think when we do maybe another intimate gig or a tour like that, it will come out.
Definitely. I hope so.
Well, the fans love it. I mean,
do you know?
So thankful for.
I love Dirty Rotten. I think Dirty Rotten.
Yeah, that one's great as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
I love everything I've done.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
So you co-wrote 8 songs for the Christmas present.
Did I?
Yeah. Well, the ones that were included. Yeah. What was your favourite?
Oh,
I've got the list here.
Can I have 2? Okay. I love the collaboration with Tyson Fury. I think Bad Sharon It's very British. It's very Rob.
Mhm.
It's very like it's like it could be the Office theme tune
Yeah.
at Christmas because it's just cheeky. The Tyson injection was amazing, and they did a bit of promo for that. That's the fun one. Then for me, it's tough. This I'm going to say Home.
Yeah, that's my favourite.
Yeah, Home.
Yeah.
Home's just glorious.
Yeah, it really is.
And I sat down with Owen and
Sam. Sure.
Sam. Yes, Sam. And Sam's a genius. And we sat down and then Rob got wind of the idea and it just came together so quick. But it's emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you hear the kids singing it and
Yeah.
stuff,
Oh,
Finn
yeah.
and Ted,
Yeah.
Yes.
it's just, Christ. I listened to it outside the house in the car with the family and we all just welled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a very sentimental,
Mhm.
beautiful Christmas song and that's there forever.
Mhm.
I actually think that will pop up somewhere again.
I hope so.
But, so many great songs, even though I'm not a co-writer on that record. Rudolph. And
I love Rudolph as
Rudolph's,
well.
it's
Yeah.
a beautiful record.
Yeah.
It's like really, really special. Time for Change was great and I understand why it came out as a single, the lyric and the content, the
Yeah.
context of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think what else. There's all sorts on that record. New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Castle, me and Ben did that in LA in the summer. Rob. We went over and did quite a few. I think Bad Sharon came out of that as well. We just had a week in the height of the summer in LA writing Christmas songs. So weird. But I do believe Slade did the same thing with Merry Christmas, everyone, apparently. I hope I've got this right. But they were writing Here It Is, Merry Christmas in June in New York. And apparently John Lennon put his head around the door and went, fucking good song that. And if that's true, that's remarkable. But I was like, yeah, you can write Christmas songs in the summer. And you've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to write them whenever they come.
Exactly.
And there was a bit of a debate over the lead single. Do you know which song were you backing?
For
To be the lead single, obviously, it ended up being Time for Change for Christmas. Which did you
I
have a
don't know
favourite for
what
the
was
lead
the other
single?
one that was in the running? Do
I
you
think
know?
Home.
Oh, was it? I don't know if that was the case or not, but I think Rudolph could have been a single
Yeah.
just because of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
just
very-
before you've heard anything else, it's Christmas. Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But Home for me could still bounce on an advert somewhere. I just think it's got everything
Mhm.
and the rise of the chorus.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose again now, it's easy to say because Time for Change has done its bit. When I watched Time for Change on Strictly Come Dancing and We'd Done It, I welled up because I was like, it's beautiful. It's another great song and it just fitted it ticked all boxes. But because that's had its moment, I'd go Home now.
Yeah.
We could put it out again.
Yeah, do
Put
it.
Home out as a single one Christmas, sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's vote.
And then which came first, Idlewild or Darkest Night? Because I think they're like a pair. And have you written anything else with Tim Metcalf?
No, I haven't actually. Well, we've done other stuff that hasn't. We've had days where we've done stuff that hasn't materialised or anything come to light, should I say? I love the boys. We've had many fun times. Darkest Night came first with Owen, and we wrote the music, and then I went over to LA. Rob put his stamp on it, and it's a great tune.
Yeah,
It's got a great story, hasn't it?
it has.
And then whilst I was in LA, me and Tim just had a down day, and we sat down and just came up with Idlewild in a day
Right.
with Rob, and it was like, oh wow, that was nice when you do that because I hang out with Tim, and I've played on their records, their solo stuff. I think it's the Undercolours.
Yeah.
But we've never sat down and wrote because we haven't just been in the space or I haven't been anywhere long enough to make plans.
Yeah.
So Idlewild was just like a surprise. And it's a good tune.
It is, yeah.
I've forgotten about all these. It's great that you've got more with me.
And can you tell us a little bit about writing New Year's Day and Fairy Tales?
Fairy Tales. So New Year's Day was written in LA with Ben.
Yeah.
We just covered that.
Yeah.
And it's a great song. I remember in particular, Rob sat down with New Year's Day and that melody and those lyrics just flew out of him, just on the spot. And I went, Christ almighty, if there was a camera on, you'd think it was
Set up or
prearranged or
something.
set up. Yeah, I was like, wow. So that came really quick. And I think it's a beautiful song. I really do. I always post it on the socials every New Year because I'm really proud of that. So the other track, what was it?
Fairy Tales.
Fairy Tales, great song. So that was Martin Tereffi.
Right.
Again, I'm moving around all the time. So writing in different spots with the people I like and people I love, and asking people to come up with ideas that were going to inspire Rob. So I sat down with Martin, John Garrison, who plays bass in James Blunt's band. And it came really quick, the basis of the idea. Then I took it to Rob, and again, I thought, I think we were in Italy. He loved it and put his stamp on it, and great lyrics. I mean, it's fantastic. We did it on Graham Norton with my dad on accordion. Yeah, because my dad played accordion on it, which one of the best things I did was that, because it's forever there.
Yeah.
It's the great thing about music and documenting stuff. So
that's nice.
We did that. Martin, me and John did the finishing touches, and then Rod Stewart got involved and did his bit on it. Which I was like, wow. It's amazing how records can turn into something really quick.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick a favourite out of all this, I don't think I can. They've all got different journeys, but I do particularly love the cheekiness of Bad Sharon and the quirk of Tyson Fury singing.
Yeah, it's great.
What the hell? When they were sat down to do an interview together sorry, I've gone all squeaky, for BBC Sport, I was just sitting there going, how has this happened? But it's a bit like what's happening right now.
Oh, right.
And Rob can do that. And this whole new rocket explosion this week is what I love about the music business. You can't forecast anything.
No.
And this has been a mega surprise.
Well, when we asked Rob to whittle down to his favourite album when he came on the show, he actually did choose The Christmas Present.
Yeah.
Didn't he? I mean, it was quite relevant and current at the time. But
I think he still would, apart from the new record that's coming. I think he's really, really proud of. So
we'll have to do it again with him and see if that one comes
yeah,
up.
you should. You can ask him later. I think collaborations is a modern day thing that people love.
Oh, yeah.
And I think surprised,
Yeah.
collaborations are great where people just wouldn't put certain characters together. Tyson Fury being the biggest surprise.
It was a surprise.
But he did well.
Oh, it's great. Loved it.
He actually thought it was going to be a single, and I thought it was for a minute. But I think Time for Change was, like I say, it just ticked all the boxes.
Yeah.
But maybe if the album gets repackaged one day, we can get home out. But I know you've got a question coming up.
Oh, yeah.
I know what's coming.
So why didn't California Christmas make the cut? We absolutely loved it at the UTR gig. Can you persuade Rob to release a UTR Christmas album with all the unreleased songs?
It's not a bad idea. I like that.
Fans would love it.
Well, the truth of it is, I think there was too many songs.
Yeah.
And because they were late to the party.
Okay.
What we did do is perform it at the Roundhouse.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful
Yeah,
song.
we loved
is.
it.
So it's not dead in the water.
No.
And there's others. So
Yeah.
I think maybe another Christmas album, or like you say, a UTR album,
Yeah.
or even when the album comes out again, we'll just do some extras.
Add some
and
extras.
There's more to come. There's another cracker. I'll let him tell you about that. But they'll get their moment, I'm sure.
Good.
And in 2020, you co-wrote Can't Stop Christmas with Owen and Rob, and you and your son Finn starred in the video alongside Owen and his wife and son. How much fun was all of that?
Well, that was during COVID.
Yes.
So we were in a house in...
I guess you were in a bubble together.
We had to stay in a bubble in this big house out in the country near the Cotswolds, really. And it was great. It was, people had to come to us. So when you're doing promo, you're normally buzzing all over the place, but everyone was coming to the house. So it was just get out of bed and what we're doing today. So we did all the music videos in the house. And we did a few TV shows. Did some mental TV show with Rob, I think. It's like a quiz show.
Yes, I remember watching that. We were on Christmas Eve with
I've
my
never
parents.
watched that back because I was so useless on it. I thought, I can't watch it. And then, so we did lots of stuff in that house, and it was a really nice memory that particular time. So we had to make the video in the house.
Yeah.
The video was really well done, actually, and of course, very sensitive time, which is why he got Boris is in it. And Theresa May, brilliant. So we did that at the house, and we had to get some extras in who we knew. So we asked
Jenny.
We asked Ted. Teddy wasn't it? We asked Owen and his family. Yeah. They were brilliant. And then me, Finn, and who was next to me? There was someone else on the sofa. Was it just me and Finn?
It was just you and Finn on your sofa.
And there were little dots then, the kids.
There were some other children there. Yeah.
Because Finn's now very much. He'll always have his voice, but he's very much all about the gym and rugby, etc. Now.
Right.
He's bigger than me. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Oh, it was Finn's cousin, Faith.
Oh, right.
She was in the video too.
Okay, right.
So it was a very family orientated video. And it was tongue in cheek. I thought it was a great video.
Yeah,
Superb.
I had a lot of fun making it. And the song in particular was I think it was a classic Rob cheeky song, you know, and I loved the whole idea of it. We went and recorded it at Guy's place, and me and Owen wrote that, and Ben Castle. So it was kind of everyone coming together. A nice collaboration.
Is Jenny in it as well?
Yeah, Jenny was Theresa May.
That's right. Yeah.
Rob's lyrics on "Can't Stop Christmas" are genius.
Oh,
the middle eight, particularly.
Yeah.
Rob's, I mean, honestly, I've never met anyone so quick in the room. He's a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel lucky to write with him because he definitely he just brings his A game every time.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about it on the show, actually, right from the beginning. And that's why it was so nice to rewind back right to his really early stuff. And there's probably loads of stuff we obviously haven't heard.
I'm amazed he's got the energy to
progression.
still write after, you know, how much he's done. But he has. He's artistic. He's great with art. He's always wanted to create.
Yeah.
And if he's got that, he needs to channel it.
Do you think that blend of all those other creative skills, because he does try a lot of different things, do you think that helps?
Definitely.
Like his art
I just think he's a creative person.
Yeah.
He's always thinking. He's always on the front foot. What's next? I like that. He's just alive.
Yeah. So next, we're going to take a short commercial break almost, but
Great.
you don't need to go anywhere.
Okay.
We've got a competition now for our listeners where they can win a pair of your used drumsticks.
Where are they from? How did you get there?
King Herd gig.
Have a word with my drum
London.
tech. Are they King Herd sticks?
Yeah.
They're King Herd sticks.
Well, it's got Robbie on it.
It's got Robbie on it, but
the logo.
you signed them as well, and they were kindly given to us by Julie from Norfolk to give away. So if you'd like to win them...
Julie gave them away. Wait till I see you, Julie.
She said that she
I
already
thought
had
that was a
pair.
really nice
No,
present.
she had another pair,
What a cheek.
apparently.
Love Julie. Let's have a look at them.
You can have a look. So if you'd like to win them, send us an email saying the name...
Julie smudged all the bloody signature off here. Sorry to interrupt.
There we go. So they are yours, right? They were yours.
They definitely are.
You can vouch for that. Right. So send us an email saying the name of the other band that Carl's in with Tom Longworth. We have mentioned it in the episode, so shouldn't be too difficult. Send it to email@robbiewilliamsrewind.com and we'll pick a winner at random.
And it's not Dad Sabbath. Did you put that?
No, I didn't.
Somebody put Dad Sabbath
That's funny.
on the socials. I thought that's really good.
Yeah, that is good.
Brilliant.
So there were only 5 new songs on 25, and you co-wrote 2 of them with Rob and Owen, More Than This and The World and Her Mother.
Oh,
Can
my
you
God.
tell us a bit about those?
That was during lockdown because Owen was at his house where he lives in Hitchin. Am I allowed to mention where you live? I was down in Dorset. Rob was in LA. So these were songs written on WhatsApp,
Right.
sharing tunes and melodies. And World and Its Mother, I have to say, is right up there with one of my favourites. I think it's a masterpiece. Owen's creativity on that, and the sonics are fantastic. It's quite, it's quite 80s sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got a bit of prefab sprout in there. It's got a bit of, what's the band I'm thinking of? Electronic. Thanks over there. Electronic New Order. But, these are all influences of all of ours, and we sat down and made it happen over lockdown, and we were literally through the different hours of everyone sleeping with the time change. We were on the phones at 8 a.m, and Rob was sending so much stuff over. He was in that mode, and I think the good thing about this period, we all had plenty of time on our hands.
Yeah.
So we were very concentrated. It was just like, we're going to finish this song in the next 24 hours. So More Than This as well. I mean, I think they're both crackers. They really are. Yeah. I don't think we've got to play them live anywhere yet.
No.
But maybe they'll be, we can squeeze them into an under the radar gig if we do one again.
Good idea.
Good.
But, asking the fans about what songs they like and stuff, that means that they get to see they get some light again. So
Yeah.
We'll try and get them out there one day, but I'm really proud of them tunes.
Oh. So you've been Rob's musical director since the 25 tour. What does that involve when working with Rob, especially considering his juggernaut tours and promo schedules? Tell us a little bit about your life as musical director.
My responsibilities are, this is what I class them as, is making sure when Rob arrives, we're really set and ready for him. We've facilitated all his needs with ideas, music, trying songs, ideas, covers, And also making sure we're just organised. And also the biggest thing for me is making sure you've got a happy ship.
Yeah.
There's 11 of us in the band.
Yeah.
We're like a football team. If we're happy and having a good time together, that shows on stage.
Right.
It totally shows on stage. So when Rob turns up, we're ready to go. And anything we've spoken about previously, I'll make sure is ready for him to trial and error, so that he walks on and it's basically squeaky clean. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I think's really important is I do my research and give Rob options of what to put in the show to please people and make sure his fans are getting what they need. But also, biggest thing for Rob is that he wants to entertain and make sure we've covered everything in the show. So laughter, crying, emotional stuff, crowd participation, maybe playing some of his favourites or crowd favourites. There's lots of boxes to tick. Yeah. And then there's the audio, making sure the audio's great, got a good audio team around you, and just being organised. But the main thing for me is having a happy camp and having everyone vibey. Rob, we all know, is the best entertainer out there and he's a big character. Yeah. So when he turns around on stage, he's got to get that energy back off every single member. It's no good turning around and seeing someone going, it's got to be flair. Yeah. It's got to be entertaining. Yeah. And a band of superheroes. And I do believe we've got that.
Mm-hmm. You have.
Yes.
And we feel it.
Oh,
I mean, all the fans, we pick up on it.
It's mega. I mean, I love everyone in the band. I love everyone's attention to detail. Owen works very close with me. He's a fantastic wingman. And with that, every part of the team on this tour is very good at what they do. Yeah. And I think you have to make sure every department is rock solid. So when he turns up, it's bulletproof, it's full of confidence, and everything's a showstopper. Mm-hmm. That's how, and honestly, I'm so excited about this tour. Yeah. I've woke up every morning like it's Christmas Day.
That's great.
Yeah. So my job is to facilitate Rob's needs. Right. Make sure the band are happy. Mm-hmm. And I guess the biggest thing of all is make sure that it's musically correct. It can't be too self-indulgent. Yes. So guitar solos every 5 minutes. Sorry, Tom. But you've got to pick and choose. Not too many musical moments where the crowd think, well, what the hell's this? Yeah. It's just got to be perfect. It's got to be right. But I understand Rob, so it's easy to understand the gig. Yeah. And if I don't think something's right, I'll talk to him about it. But he's so invested in his own show and so invested in putting on an amazing performance to please the audience, because, this tour's huge. Yeah. It's bloody huge.
We can't wait. So we noticed Rob signalling to you during Angels at the O2 on the 25 tour. How do you manage playing and watching for his social cues?
Never mind playing, it's seen.
So you didn't see it.
What was he signaling?
I don't know. I think he just kind of turned around to you.
Well, you know what? That's a very important point, because I have to have eye contact, because anything can happen. But I do have talkbacks to Rob, so I can talk to him. Ah, okay. But the reason I now have my cymbals high and far apart, which my arms aren't very thankful for, is so my sight lines are clear. I need to see some crew. I like to see the band for endings. And I need to see Rob, if he chucks his thing up and hits it with the invisible golf club, I need to be able to see it. Yes. Yeah. So if he also looks at me and says, I don't fancy doing this one tonight, or we're running over time, I just need to have eye contact. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because sometimes he's not going to tell me over the mic. No. So that's, all those things are part of my job description, that you have to just make sure you can communicate and read each other's minds. Sometimes there's been occasions where I go, what? What are you saying? You want to do your mine? But no, he's. We have to be able to see each other. Sometimes just having a chat, he might come over and go, "What a great show! Do you fancy watching Match of the Day?" This could be anything.
Brilliant. So moving on to Britpop.
How exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get on to it. You've been working on Rob's upcoming album, Britpop, and one song we can definitely discuss is the incredible Rocket, which Rob has said is his favourite. You co-wrote it with Rob, Tom, Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, and you co-produced it. How did that collaboration happen? We can't wait to hear it live, by the way.
We're not doing it. Tony Iommi and I have known each other for a while through a good friend of mine, Mike Exeter, who's a producer, works with Sabbath and Tony. Me and Mike have known each other for years. I bumped into Tony in lockdown. I've been doing Tony's solo record, and I just said,
okay.
got a track, do you fancy putting some riffs down? And Rob asked if he'd get involved and put some Tony on it, so he did. And this is the result, and it's been it's unexpected, but actually makes a lot of sense in the Midlands rock and roll mafia. Me and Tom have had King Heard, and I just said to Tom, let's get Tony on this. Tony agreed to do it. Met Rob, done the video, done the recording, and it's a great little collaboration. It really is, and it's going down a storm. I'm really surprised.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that someone like Rob can bend the rules and bring something like this back, because it's slightly old school, it's riff based, but Rob can set the tone. He's brave. It's collars up. He wanted something gnarly. By God, he's got it.
Yeah, definitely.
He went in the studio and Owen put some synths down, and it's modernised a little bit, but it's still rootsy. When it kicks in, you can just, there's no denying. When I sat in the car at 10 to 8 in the morning with my son, and it came on the radio, and I went, my God, I haven't heard anything on Radio 2 like this from. And I slightly panicked, and then the reception it got, me and my son just looked at each other and went, this is great.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tony. Thanks, Rob, for the collaboration, because it's gone off this week. It really has. I'm over the moon.
Yeah,
really am.
Yeah, what a great start. I mean, it is. It's incredible, and it's going down very well.
Well, what's to follow is more exciting collaborations. I really truly believe this album's got a bit of everything. Yeah. And if you're a Rob fan, you're going to get everything you need. Wow. It's got everything, but the journey now of releases and stuff will become clear. But there's definitely nostalgic moments from Life Through a Lens, I believe. There's collaborations which have been mentioned before. I'm sure you know some of them.
Chris Martin and Gaz Coombs.
Gaz Coombs, me, Owen and Rob got together. We've got a couple of little things. There's one tune in particular that Rob loves. So they'll see the light of day, and they'll all get their moment.
Right.
There's just something for everybody on it. And the biggest thing of all is this is the album that Rob wanted to put out. Yeah. He's scratched an itch, and it's an album he never would have got to do. So Britpop, I think it is it's British rock and roll, and it's got the pop element too. So there's a journey. And let's face it, like we touched on earlier, Rob can do anything and pull it off.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So it's that's the album.
We were wondering whether King Heard's sound has inspired Rob to get back to the guitar sound as well.
I definitely think Rocket's got a bit of that in it. I think Rob's a fan of King Heard. In fact, he's got the T-shirt. So is Owen. So I'd definitely say Rocket has definitely got a bit of that influence, especially in the energy and being low down the neck. But bringing Tony into that only emphasised that even more. But with the rest of the album, no, I think it's heavily, me and Owen have done a lot together on this record, and it's very Britpop. And it's very nostalgic of Rob's early records, I would say. Okay. It sounds incredible. His lyrics on it, his melodies, I think you're going to be very happy.
We're so pleased it's here. When he was on the show in December 22, he was telling us about it. This is the record I wanted to make.
Well, that's why, for me, when I heard Rocket on the radio, it was a real mixed emotion of, it was overwhelming because it's been in the making for years. So I thought, is it coming?
Is it finally here?
It's Scott Mills is going to play it. It was like, it was, I actually pulled over because I just went, just calm down for a minute.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now, we know you probably can't tell us much, but is there anything you can tell us about what to expect from the new tour?
Yeah.
And what you're most excited about?
I can tell you're going to see things that you haven't seen before.
Right.
I can tell you that it's a brand new set list. There's going to be songs that have been revisited. There's going to be a tip of the hat to the film. You're going to cry. You're going to laugh. You're going to be highly entertained. Yeah. I just think there's something in it for everybody, and this is just the start. I think the show feels amazing. We're still working on it, obviously. Yeah. So things can change between now and then. But not only do we have a great show, we have the best form of Rob we've had in a long time. He looks amazing. Yeah. He's highly invested, and he's the best form of Rob I've known. He's incredible right now.
That's lovely to hear as well.
Yeah, and he's been great. He's always been great, but he looks the best he's ever looked since I've told him that, since I've known him. And I think you're about to see a show that not only you'll enjoy, but he's going to enjoy too.
Oh, that's good.
So there's something there for everyone, I promise you.
So if you could rewind back to one moment in your career and relive it, what would it be?
I think it's about to happen.
Uh-huh.
I think it's happening now. I really do. I truly believe that, because you've touched on so many things and took me down memory lane today. Christmas album was a real highlight and such a buzz. And like I said, being involved with so many songs and having even my dad and our families as part of or campaign, all those little things make personal memories.
Yeah.
But on a collaboration and an album that we've been working on for so long, I think the Britpop era and the tour, I'm about to have the best time of my life. What a time to be alive. Till I just do it.
It's a good time to be alive.
No, I seriously think it's because it's about to happen and it's happening right now. I get up every day with the right spring in my step. And when you get up and see the reviews and people loving what Rob's brought out, I think people can see that Rob's driving the ship in what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And when Rob makes those decisions, you get the full Rob. So he's living and breathing and he's enjoying himself. He feels great. He's working out every day.
Mm.
Honestly, he's got a gym in the dressing room and he's a machine.
He looks good.
Yeah, he does.
So do you have a best show or concert or a favourite one that you've done? Obviously, you've done so many. It must be difficult to pick. But any
O2 in the Round was one we touched on, and that was good because it was in the round and we walked out with the house lights on. Yeah, that was exciting. And it was the first impressions and all that. We did a huge one in Latvia where it was put out to lots of cinemas.
Oh yeah.
And,
that was Tallinn, I think.
It was Tallinn, and there was helicopters everywhere. It looked like it was just beyond anything that eyes could comprehend. And that stayed in my memory because my son and my dad, again, I always come back to family because those are the people I've always wanted to impress. My dad, my son, my family, my wife, my mom, everyone. And I just remember particularly them calling me after saying, we've just watched you in the cinema.
Yeah.
So proud. So those are what make you have special moments that you hold on to. But as far as experiences with gigging and whatnot, there's just too many.
Yeah.
There's too many. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
Long may it continue.
Yeah.
And have you got a favourite Robbie song to perform live?
It's controversial. You know what? Let Me Entertain You is always a winner. It's a drummer's dream.
Yeah.
Fantastic song to play. Songs that we don't get to play that I love, I'm going to throw out there. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Songs that wouldn't because Rob's got too many hits. You just can't fit everything in.
No.
But there's loads of great songs. Do You Mind was good. Morning Sun was fantastic. Starstruck was fun.
Yeah.
I've always loved Hot Fudge, and that will come and go, as I'm sure. What else is there? California Christmas.
Yeah.
Lovely song.
Yeah.
Gold.
Oh.
Gold.
Yeah. So there's plenty. I mean, it could be Rob will have to do some more gigs where we just have a selfish set.
Yeah. Definitely.
Selfish show.
Please, we want another one of those.
Yeah. And then this might be even trickier. What's your favourite Robbie song? Just in general. It's something we ask everyone and no one can ever answer it.
I think Feel's an amazing tune.
Yeah.
I really do. I love Feel because the way he sings it's heroic and it's just simple.
Yeah.
Very, very nice groove on it. And yeah, there's something about Feel. It's not to play, I'm just talking about listening. Yeah. Christ, there's so many. Do you know what one of my favourites is of late is Something Beautiful? In the film, the way it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I just love the way he sings that, and I think it's a really well written song.
Yeah.
Any others? There's lots. I mean, I could be here all day, really.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because I listen with my drum head.
Yes.
I always go to what I enjoy playing, which is very egotistical and selfish. But song based, She's the One, Angels. I mean, there's so many classics. There really is. And you'll see in the show, I mean, we're still trying to shoehorn the right amount of hits into the show with other things because it's hard. But because we're touring again and we only toured last year, very important that it's a different show.
Yes.
You don't want to. You want to see different things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
You'll be happy.
Well, we're looking forward to the show.
Yes.
Looking forward to the tour. We're coming to see it a few times.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to the album. And by the way, we listened to King Herd on the way up in the car. We really enjoyed that. I love that kind of
the
style.
new single?
Yeah, that and the album.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much. It's almost very King Herd t-shirt. You've got the snakes, horns and stuff. Well, listen, thank you for having me. And again, I can only apologise. It's taken so long, but it felt only right to do it now. The buzz is high. The tour's right upon us.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the right the right time.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
for coming on, and we
My
look
pleasure.
forward to next time when we can
Yes.
catch up with you more and find
Episode
out what
2.
else
You've got to
is
get
coming.
Owen on next.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
we'd like to get
definitely-
I'll work
Owen
on
on.
that for you.
Yes, please do.
Thanks. And I hope you enjoy the gig.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Cheers.
Robbie Williams Rewind.